I am not a host. It's like, what's this? Oh, Austin posted something. You know, I'll just keep this going for a bit. Austin posted something in general. There's something controversial. Filmmakers behind the notorious bum fight videos did a Reddit where they said this. Does the filmmaker have a real point? Personally, I think he does, but he's still a piece of shit. Let's see. What's this? A filmmaker makes bun fights? What's going on? Just reading this. You guys can talk while
Yeah, I'm looking at it too in the chat.
Let's see. From Tyrell Bolt 3 years ago. Thanks. Only 3 posts for you to show your true colors. You lied in your own AMA and showed everyone, including your fans, exactly what you really are. Please come join Reddit again in the future. I was entertained. From what the hell is going on?
It is I, the man of the trenches.
Austin!
I've been living in a cave working on my stuff.
Hour
You
19
and me
minutes.
both.
Well, I didn't get a notification or like an at everyone.
It was super early, dude. No problem.
Podcaster. You're a podcaster. You should have
I've
gotten
been
a
working
notification.
on stuff. I'm sorry.
You sound like Pan Pizza.
No, I'm not. No, I am not whatsoever. I am not him.
Wait a minute. Are you Pan Pizza?
No.
Are you fucking Pan Pizza? Holy shit! Are you?
No.
Hey man, I love your videos.
No. One likes
Holy
my
shit.
videos. Everyone thinks I'm Mr. Enter. I had to apologize to him.
I'm Mr. Enter. Oh my god.
Me and the
It's Mr.
turkey
Enter in the
tommers.
podcast.
Your voice is getting
Turkey
better.
Tommers, more like wannabe goth.
Holy shit! See, this is why I like Austin on the podcast, man. You're a
This
breath
is
of
why
fucking
Pink
fresh
and
air.
no one want me dead.
Where the heck were you, dude?
I was too busy diving into the rabbit hole of the creators of bum fights and learning how evil but kind of ironic people they were.
What is this? Bum fights? Holy shit!
Bum
You see,
fights?
this is why this man is on the pod. He brings shit like this to the pod. Let's talk about bum fights. Fuck all this bullshit about film criticism.
Well, film
do
criticism
this.
can be said the same for this as well, because these people were wannabe filmmakers that are kind of critiquing on society, such as when one of the producers, Ty Beeson, appeared as Dr. Phil saying, "No, we do the same thing." And he's like, "No, we don't." I was like, "Yes, we do." In a way, they're kind of saying, "Yes, what we do to homeless people is bad, but you have them do worse shit." Or such as they did a Reddit page where they go, "Yes, you can call me scum all you want, but you're still stuck in front of your laptop bitching at me while a homeless man is out there dying." And shit, that's true.
Okay, wait. What's the context of this? Who are these people exactly? What's their story?
These are just kids from the suburbs of San Francisco. They were like, "Hey, we're 14. Let's film a bunch of homeless people act stupid."
And
then
they
they
put it
became
online.
like art house guys that were like, "No, we're saying something deep."
Oh, I see.
Typical San Francisco people. And if you people live in LA, San Francisco, or Nevada, I have no respect for you because you didn't take doing enough.
I used to visit San Francisco and LA a lot when I visited my dad in California. I remember the people there being nice, but it's like it's weird.
It's fake nice. It's fake.
Well, San Francisco is LA is fake nice. San Francisco is a bit like homely nice, but I don't know. People in LA sort of lived in like their own little bubble. You know what I mean?
They do.
And it's expensive as shit to live there. I'm thankful that I don't plan on moving there in the future.
Yeah,
I plan on
like,
moving to Georgia because that's where the film industry is.
Like
Land,
living
I guess.
there now, this nice apartment that I have now, that costs $2,000 a month over there.
Holy shit! You have an apartment of your own?
Kind of. I have 3 roommates.
Oh, okay. I
Sounds like
still
a
live with my parents.
It's a 3-bedroom apartment in Springfield, Missouri.
I feel like that's going to be like the direction I have to go. Like,
I pay
Pay
$600.
damages every time Homer
I pay. What were you saying, Austin?
I said, do you have to pay damages for your apartment every time Homer Simpson blows it up?
I pay for. It's really freaking nice. I pay $600 a month for rent.
that's. I
That's
feel like we should just.
that's with electricity, utilities, laundry, and internet included, and cable.
I feel like.
Anyway, as you guys were saying, really messed up and kind of try hard political stuff in here.
Wait, what?
You guys were talking about film criticism.
Oh yeah, yeah, that too.
Right, we got to that topic, and then we got distracted about Spider-Man villains, and I was just critiquing like the Spider-Man mythos and how it can be a bit ridiculous sometimes.
Well, no offense, all superhero stuff is ridiculous because they're about people who dress in costumes and fight justices and be easily interchangeable instead of real injustices that happen in political office.
Yes, that's true.
I mean, you know, Alan Moore, I hate his guts, but damn, he was right.
You hate Alan Moore?
I do because he doesn't like comic books or comic book movies or comic book fans. It's just like, well, fuck you too, Alan Moore. I don't like you either.
Well, he believes that the medium should evolve past being for children, I suppose.
Dude, it's mostly 30-year-olds who read comics nowadays. Kids don't read comics. I have never seen a kid at a convention. You know what? Those kids at conventions, they're dragged by their parents to go there. Half the cartoon shows that are on, and I'm sorry if I'm going on a rant, all of these cartoons and everything, kids don't watch them. They could care less. They're too busy watching Logan Paul dance like an idiot on YouTube. Their
Or like
parents are
KSI. Watch him fight KSI or KSC or whatever his fucking... KFC or whatever his name is.
KFC.
His name is KFC.
Well,
Gangnam Style guy.
Sounded like a good idea, but then it's just...
No, PSY is the Gundam Style guy. KSI is some... What is he? He streams FIFA game, right?
Oh, that's the FIFA guy. Okay.
So, film criticism, my take on it is it's kind of getting worse because there's now a divide between critics and audiences. Long time ago, before, you know, the whole DCEU controversy, all that stuff, there was this influx of really, really bad movies, mostly from Michael Bay and Adam Sandler's production companies. And I believe that we all trusted each other, followed critics' points of view. And no offense to critics, it wasn't their fault in the situation. It's just something that sort of mentality. And then when critics take a shot at something someone else is like, we're used to having this sort of group opinion. And then when someone is outside of the norms of that opinion or something like that, they're either ridiculed or sent threats to, such as what DCEU fans sent to critics, or what DCEU critics sent to fans there, and it just becomes this whole wish-wash back and forth mentality where it ultimately kind of changes people's views on things. Where critics actually look at you and going, "Wait, you actually care what my review says instead of your own opinion?" And then you just look at yourself going, "Oh."
See, what I was telling the guys earlier is that a lot of people have told me that I'm sort of critiquing movies at the wrong time. And I'm just wondering, is there ever a right time to critique a movie? It's like, if we just saw a movie...
Want, man.
Yeah, but if it's like...
free speech, whether you like it or not.
I know, but it's like, I always hate how there's like this weird undertone, or like the shift in people's personalities when you tell them that you didn't like a movie that they all just saw. Because it's like, I get it, we're all here to have a good time. But if I had an issue, I'm going to point it out. Which is why nobody invites me to see a movie with them.
That's totally fine. People are like that towards me as well. Like, whenever time they show one of those art house films like Mother or Call Me By Your Name and stuff like that, it's just like, oh, come on. Because, like, I kind of find those type of things so try hard with their point going. It's kind of like an SNL sketch where they're like, what? Straight people? What? And you're just going like, oh my God, we get it. No one is like this in real life.
I found Mother completely pretentious. It's
super pretentious, but it's kind of what I see what people see me say when I praise Zack Snyder. It's like, oh, so this is what they think I sound like. Like, you just don't understand the complexities of how Mother symbolizes Mother Nature. I'm like, fuck Mother Nature. That bitch has it coming. She gives me way too many hot days in the Indian summer in my friggin' state. Fuck you, Mother Nature.
Is it
When
wrong
it's
that I
summer, she
haven't
brings all
heard
the
of
fucking
even...
gnats in the air, and they get inside your eye and your ears and shit. It's so fucking annoying. You're right.
Yeah,
Fuck
and so
Mother
that's why I
Nature.
go outside, just spray insecticides, like, ah! Like Recyclops in the office.
Just piss on the grass.
Well, urine and shit is like biodegradable, so it's like I'm not really doing anything bad. So it's like, damn, I need to do something else. Pour soda all over there, and it's off-brand. You bastard.
We should just delete. We should just delete the first hour of this podcast and just leave all the section with Austin on.
Yeah, it's just like, who is this crazy guy? It's just like, I'm not crazy. I'm just sad.
What were you saying?
Is it bad that I haven't heard of or seen either of those art house films?
I mean, despite my shitting on them, it's like not everything is for everybody, and
Mm-hmm.
that can be said for film criticism. Like, there were people who gave RoboCop the original stunning reviews, but when people walked out of it, they go, "God, people actually like that shit." Or like the original Godzilla, and they said, "What? People actually thought this was deep?" Or just like anything that you might like, someone dislikes it because it doesn't resonate with them. Like me with Upgrade. And
oh my god!
Oh, you didn't like Upgrade?
I did.
I need to
first,
see
but then
that.
the more I thought about it, I just went like, "Oh god, this was bad. This was Saw 1 level bad."
Oh wait, hang on. Let me put down. I can't. Saying what? I'm sorry, Austin. I
You
didn't.
broke up a little bit. What did you
It's
say?
okay. It's okay. Like, I've been interrupting a lot, and I apologize for that.
No, it's all right.
So I'll let you guys speak for a bit before I do something stupid.
Well, I hear a lot of people criticize The Thing when it was released back in 1982 because they thought it was nothing but just this violent, boring horror movie. Because I'm
Do
sure,
you ever think for a second, what if they're right, and the reason we actually love it nowadays is because it's a special effects heavy film, and that it was something a little bit different for the time, but it might actually be considered tamed today? I know I don't want to make you guys paranoid about that stuff, but you ever just like have that thought in your mind going like, what if this is the equivalent of what we say about stuff like Mother, where it actually is a pretentious film, and John Carpenter might be the man, but he still made Village of the Damned. Is that what it was called?
It was the
They
remake.
Live. Those movies are... Oh, no, I meant not Village of the Damned. I mean Ghost of Mars.
We tend to forget, like, all the criticisms we have about CGI and stuff, a lot of critics had against films back then, about the special effects in films back then, because it's like, whenever I watch an old film, I always hear the characters whenever there's characters watching a movie in an old film, I always hear them complain, the special effects in movies look so fake. Like, I think back to the part in Back to the Future where Back to the Future 2, where Marty McFly's about to be eaten by the holographic CGI Jaws, and he's all like, "Shark still looks fake."
I'm like,
I'm wondering, it's like,
because
was that the critique back?
Well, because Spielberg knew that the shark wasn't, like, everyone knew, like, even Spielberg knew, it's like, yeah, the shark was fake, but it's the suspense of when it's going to show up. It's like, it was 79 when that shark movie came out, and, like, most of the sequel stuff, they just used a rear projected one.
Can I be honest with you guys? When I first saw Jaws, I did not notice that the shark looked fake. And matter of fact, I still think it looks pretty damn good for a shark.
And interlaced with stock footage of an actual shark, you believe that the shark is there, eating people up.
And honestly, it's like, I just don't see where the criticism comes from. I guess the complaint is there's something off about the eye and the mouth, but I still think it looks pretty well. It looks lifeless.
More dead-eyed than me when you look me straight in the eye.
Yeah, it's like with the what's his name, the fisherman.
The fisherman, yes.
Yeah, that's what he said. He's
Quint.
No,
Quint. You had black eyes like a doll's eyes, lifeless. And it's like, yeah, it looks
Someone in the
lifeless, like
back
you
yells,
described.
"How did this guy get in here?" That would be me. It's like, yeah, this guy is obviously drunk and loony. Can we actually get like the military to help us kill this thing? Like, realistically, because Jaws is a cheesy monster movie when you really think about it, because
But it takes
Spielberg
itself so
generated a lot
seriously.
of his movies on things he grew up with.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, if this happened in the real world, like, so it'd be kind of like the movie The Meg in a way, but with more of a military intervention.
Well, you would get the Coast Guard. You would get the Coast Guard, right? Doesn't the Coast Guard handle shit like this?
Exactly.
Yeah, but a lot of people like to make fun of the Coast Guard, so let's leave them out of this. Like, come
My
on, man, don't involve us
grandfather-
with Jaws. We got it bad enough.
They're protecting the
My
sea.
grandfather was part of the Coast Guard for over a decade.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah,
From
I just think it's unfair that the
from-
military, like, a lot of people like make jokes about them. It's like, dude, they're still the military.
The Coast Guard are still part of the military. My grandfather was part of the Coast Guard from 67 to I think about 75.
I mean, they're like the ones in like first in line to defend us from like a naval invasion, right? Or at least I'm
Yeah.
guessing. And it's like, why are we making fun of them?
And
they're like our
he was
first line of defense.
stationed, and he was stationed in the Philippines when the Vietnam War was going on.
I think it's kind of like, well, Marines and Navy and U.S. Army, they're like the first ones in. Coast Guard were like, we'll hold down the fort type of thing. But I think we're getting off topic with like military stuff. But in a realistic sense of like Jaws, yeah, the Coast Guard would get involved. And again, no offense to how you feel about the shark, but like, come on, dude, it still looks fake.
No, I guess.
And
Where were
to
we
be
originally?
fair-
How did we get to
to
Jaws?
be
Oh, because we
Oh,
were
yeah.
talking
And
about
to
film
be
criticism
fair-
and how it relates to like, well, people still have complaints
Yeah.
about something when you can't see it.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes it's super obvious and sometimes it needs a little more convincing to do. It's like The Fly in a sense where
Mm-hmm.
people can definitely kind of see something's wrong with it, where it's like, well, why is this happening right here? Well, the fly suit looks really bad and like that animatronic looks really bad until his head gets are like, oh shit.
And
With
I
the fly too, people go like, oh, that's better.
And I guess we criticize. I guess we don't criticize it because we live in such an effects-heavy world that is so advanced compared to that era that we look at The Fly as something charming and to be appreciated. Because
Even though it accidentally became a commentary on aging and other diseases of that decade.
yeah,
But I understand what you mean, because back then, most of effects and stuff like that were made with minimal to none resources. Going to the thing again, the part where the head falls off the body, see that green stuff? That's pieces of chewing gum. It's like that's
shit.
how, and it just shows like these people, their minds are like really good at hiding these things. And nowadays, you can tell when something's fake. The thing prequel,
Mhm.
where ADI got fucked over hard by the studio.
And then they took all those effects and just made their own movie, right?
Yeah, and it was okay. It was like, but the
It's
effects are good.
just fine.
It was fine. That had Lance Hendrickson in it, so that's a plus.
Oh,
Everyone
well,
loves
it was nice to
Bishop.
see him. You know, I said something really mean the other day about Lance Hendrickson. Oh, this was a few months ago. My friend had put on this had put on a show that he started called Millennium, right? And I'm watching an episode that he puts on, and Lance Henderson is the star. And then he comes on screen, and I didn't recognize him at first. And he's playing like the father of this daughter. He's playing like a father figure, a father on the show. And then I said, he is the creepiest looking father ever. And then he reminded me that's Lance Hendrickson. And then it just came to my mind that I called Lance Hendrickson creepy.
Well, he might actually just prick his finger and see if it comes out. Just don't ask him for the knife trick.
No.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. Do the thing with the knife.
Whoa!
R.I.P. Bill Paxton, we miss you.
Come back, Bill Paxton. You were a treasure
Yeah,
in everything
dude,
you were in.
don't let the man rest.
No.
Game over, man. Game
What do
over.
you mean? He died too young. Wasn't he like 50 something?
In every movie he did.
Yeah.
Right. He's up there with like Sean Penn and John Hurt as like a chronically killed actor. Back to film criticism.
Tangents.
I actually did have a conversation with somebody who posted a negative review to something I like, and I asked him these questions like, what do you view on critics versus audiences? And I feel like he said that audiences are kind of taking things a little too seriously because I think we live in a pretty stressed out world, and the divide is only going to get worse because we've reached a point where critics are looking for too much and audiences are looking for too less in form of entertainment when we should evolve past that.
Mm-hmm. The more stressed out the society is, the more we're going to look past flaws because we just want to have a good time, convince ourselves that what we're watching is actually has positives, and anything bad has positives. I'm sure, like
Venom.
like Venom or like Freddy Got Fingered has some positives about it. There
Only
are some people
if
who
you
think
don't
that...
have a superior anime knowledge like me.
If you don't watch it in its original Japanese version, you do not understand the show at all.
You see me like prop up the shining glasses when someone says "your" without an apostrophe. Let's be honest, we all did that.
I do it all the time. I'm known.
Snyder.
I'm known on the server as being a guy who's terrible at spelling and grammar. But you know what? I don't care. It's how I am, and I'm not going to let negativity get to me. Huh?
Besides, you're texting in a hurry when you do that. You're just like...
Yeah, because you know what? You want your point to get across before somebody takes the spotlight from you.
But you gotta admit, that is pretty funny that people actually use it in an argument, be like this. I can't believe you said this political segment. You're ignorant. And then they go, you're... You're just like, damn it!
Just fucked it up. Sometimes I forget.
That happened to me too. Like back in my younger days of being anti-critic, that's how most of the arguments would end up because I was interning somewhere as I was saying these things, and then every conversation would be to or your. And then people would go, "Oh snap! Fanboy shot down." It's like, damn.
I don't know. A lot of people. The only reason I think I got into critiquing was because I got into James Rolfe. Because a lot of people say that you can tell like where most people get their opinions or their style of reviewing from. Most people either grew up watching the Nostalgia Critic and like the channel Awesome Crew. I grew up watching James Rolfe before I transitioned to any of that. I think he's the only reason that I still make videos. If you're watching this, if you ever listen to this James Rolfe, you're the very reason why I make YouTube videos. And I think that I sort of forgotten how fair he could be in some of his videos, where he wasn't completely caustic in his points of view. He did always have something positive to say about something, and he never made it out to be that something was so horrible. And while he did use hyperbole, it was always done with this sort of sincerity that a lot of other critics had forgotten about. And what annoyed me with the Nostalgia Critic is that everybody would sort of recite his opinions without thinking for themselves and just repeat what he said. And I mean, there are some people who tried to hide it. All throughout high school, I would just hear kids recite the Nostalgia Critic, and it's like I knew what they were doing, but if I pointed it out, I felt like I would have been an asshole. But and at the end of the day, all I think of is that it's all right to critique something, but to make something out to be like by using words like horrible or just god awful, you're sort of just stretching it a little, because I'm sure like a multi-million-dollar film made by a Hollywood studio can't be too terrible. Venom just seems like it's a superhero movie that should have been made in 2003. And I've said this before, but
Well, it is
I'm
Sony.
Sure, yeah, it looks like a
One
superhero
thing about
film
Sony, I have to say, they make good video games, but in terms of their film division, they are lacking because people are onto them. They're trying way too hard to be a cinematic universe, and it's mostly Marvel's fault this is happening because once they did it, everyone is trying to do it. G.I. Joe is going to try to do it. Transformers is trying to do it. And DC is barely getting off the ground to do it, but they're doing it. Even Godzilla is going to be doing it. And there's not a lot of time for an actual movie story because 90% of movies nowadays, even the movies that are praised from Marvel, are just movies to set up another movie. Deadpool 2 was a movie to set up another movie, which was X-Force. Ant-Man was to set up Infinity War 2. Ant-Man and the Wasp, I mean. Because he's trapped in that dimension while everyone he knows and loves has been turned into ash because they don't feel so good. And let's see, Jumanji is going to have a cinematic universe, which, yes, that's what people wanted. And Goosebumps is going to have it because I think Red Letter Media said because that's the only way nowadays you can film franchise is if it just has a universe. I kind of feel how Ridley Scott felt about it, where he's like, well, I don't really like cinematic universes. But then he does that, classic Ridley thing where he turns his opinion around saying, I don't mind spin-offs.
Why not just make good movies?
Because no one goes to see them. Case in point, Dredd.
Well,
I like Dredd.
No, that movie failed because of bad marketing.
Well,
I remember when that came out. Huh?
It was Lionsgate, so you're right there.
Yeah. Lionsgate. I don't know much about them, but that movie just failed because
apparently they're going to continue.
Didn't get the market.
They're going to continue Dread as a Netflix series, like possibly on.
No,
Netflix.
It's kind of a reboot series where it's like, nope, this is like more cartoony instead of that really badass one we got.
I really liked Dredd from Dredd 2012. I really liked that when I first saw it on DVD, whatnot, a couple of years ago.
That's what Upgrade reminded me of. It sort of felt like Upgrade got the success that the 2012 Dredd didn't. And I'll Upgrade, although by success I mean that it was a moderate success compared to Dredd 2012, which nobody really saw. Except for like a small group of people. And I'm fine with something not getting too big of a success. I guess the only issue is that, oh man, I really like this. I wouldn't mind a sequel, but I'll take what I got at the end of the day.
And it got like positive views from critics, but I think there was like it's marketing as well. But sometimes some movies get marketed off of bad reviews or good reviews. It is just like I think the film criticism thing is just it. I don't actually believe critics are being paid off. I do believe there are such a thing as like fake critics, because guess what company has actually created fake critics to give positive reviews on their movies?
What company?
Sun Y.
What's that?
Oh yeah, there was rumors like that Ghostbusters review by Island Arcade.
Oh, Sony.
As most people call it, Sun Y.
Oh yeah, but there was
this
one critic, some YouTuber went to the Ghostbusters premiere, and he gave like a glowing review. But there was a picture of him with the director Paul Feig, and people theorized he was a fake critic. But like I think that was false. But like
it was proven false. He was proven innocent. But I'm talking about critics that never existed, were never seen. It's not like an Armand White where they're a troll. I mean, like, where they're specifically created.
Oh, yeah.
And by the way, they were caught, and the person who did this was, prosecuted and so on. But, like, that shit might still be possible today, especially now with, like, entertainment companies doing that and so on. And sometimes I think nowadays, especially with stuff coming from, like, Netflix or Amazon, some stuff gets praised, but some gets like beaten down, especially when some people go, wait, why do people hate this? And it's like, and there's not much flaws in there that make it crappy. I honestly think that there is such a thing where critics are kind of getting high off their own fumes in a sense and forgetting about the criticism, because nowadays criticism is the the movie Whiplash, where you're a college teacher or something yelling at someone saying, "I'm not here to help you make it right. I'm here to help you know what you fucked up doing." And it's just like, oh, geez. Well, you could say, well, you're supposed to know this stuff. You're a film, maker. You should have known this before you did this. It's like, yeah, well, some people, I don't want to be mean, but like some people in this world, whether you be intellectual or lacking in that, people are dense and sometimes they can't see past things. I think film critics are trying to be way too harsh on that and actually say, hey, this is actually what you did wrong. Here's an error right there. So if you ever get to do another film, God willing, you can actually fix it. I mean, yeah, there are some cases where controversies surround the film, and obviously no one's going to give a Kevin Spacey movie a good review anymore. So let's be honest about that.
Well,
even if he's good.
It's like, well, here's the thing. It's like if we can't critique movies for the genuine flaws that they have, why even put any effort into making good movies? And I do think there is. I do think there is such a thing as like, oh well, no, I'm not saying that we should fire anybody. It's like why put any effort into making good movies? Why even put any effort into making a movie if we can just let films just get off with things that generally shouldn't be considered acceptable for a film viewing experience? Well, why put any effort into like hiring screenwriters when people will just let dumb things go, or like people won't be able to process plots, or like able to critique a plot in a way that's both fair and I'm tired. I usually can't speak, but now it's even worse. It's like, why?
Because some things fly over people's heads, as well as this is hard to say. Hard to describe what I'm saying. I think it should just be said that it's hard for people to just generalize things because a lot of people are afraid to take risks. A lot of people are afraid to genuinely put more effort into it because a studio doesn't have faith in them, or might be, and I know this is armchair psychology, maybe they don't have faith in their own material. I mean, it's not like a Raja Gosnell scenario where he is a director for hire mercenary type thing.
I've never heard of a Raja Gosnell. Who is he?
He's the guy who made the Smurfs movie, that recent Show Dogs movie. He's been all over the map. So he makes
those movies that only people see with their grandmothers on the weekend?
Yes.
Hey, Grandma, want to go see a movie? Sure, what's out? These look too violent for Grandma. Oh, look, it's that Raja Gosnell making those little family films that nobody sees.
And yet, like, there's this sense of, like, so much money was put into this, there's no effort.
No, there's no effort. It's
like, oh no, it not just was a paycheck for everybody, but it was a union-sanctioned movie.
It's probably, I can just imagine what it's like filming those movies. It's just like this awkward, corporately mandated farce. It's just false emotions, and once the camera stops rolling, all the smiles dial down, and then it's like just the young actors just sitting around on their phones, just waiting for the next paycheck and shit. And then the movie comes out in theaters.
I turned down the role of Georgie in It for this shit.
And it's like, the movie comes out, it makes a fair amount of money, and then it just ends up on the DVD, the 325 DVD bin at Walmart, and parents buy it because it's safe for their kids. They don't watch them. They don't want them growing up watching like movies like The Evil Dead on television, even if people who watch those movies
because I think
nowadays
people are more conscious because media may or may not be influencing people with mental illness to hurt people, and people don't want to take that chance. Plus, they want soccer moms and helicopter dads to allow their kids to watch programming, so they have no choice but to conform to that, where a lot of people like to whine and moan about cartoons and movies nowadays being way too family friendly, but they have no choice because the audience wants that. Well, at least the audience's parents, because nowadays we've become a woke society in a sense, and I am sorry that I am using that word, but we are more
woke. We live
aware
in a
about-
society.
Yeah, we live in a society. Hashtag the Joker should say. We live in a society.
See, well, it's like, what if he says that, but it's like, it's not a reference to the meme. It's just something that he says. It's like, honey, we live in a society. Okay.
I bet you someone's head will explode. Like Sanders.
He fucking said it! Holy shit!
Right in the fucking theater.
They said that.
Did you see that one guy untouched by all this, just looking look at the screen, going like, "This movie kind of sucks."
It just came here for a good time, man. You even bought this $20 popcorn.
I can't believe I went to see Max Steel 2 for this.
Nah, man.
Max
Monster
Steel 2.
Trucks
We
2,
cut
that's
the
what they're
budget even
seeing.
more.
Hey, side note, can you guys hear the construction that's going on outside of my apartment right now?
I can't
What?
hear anything.
No.
There is construction going on outside of my apartment right now because some dumbass upstairs clogged his tub or his toilet or whatever.
And then that guy comes down going like,
Where do you
We have
live? Do you live in
thin
like an
walls
apartment complex or?
I do.
Okay.
It's an apartment complex that's a block away from Missouri State campus where I go to
Okay.
school.
what if your upstairs neighbor is like Jon Favreau and he just comes out wearing a bathrobe going, "We have thin walls here, kid."
It would be awesome if Jon Favreau was my neighbor.
Yeah, you could get a spot on that new Star Wars show, The Mandalorian.
Oh
Anybody
god,
excited
that
for
looks
that?
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I love those type of like Fett costumes. So it's like I know this is stupid to say, but I kind of hope it's kind of like The Walking Dead in the sense where it just like it shows messed up stuff. But that's taking away from the topic of like what we were discussing beforehand. But
we were talking about it for a while. I think we can transition.
okay, thank you. 'Cause so Jon Favreau is the man. He started the MCU. He's a genius. He deserves more love than he gets. Plus, I want Neil Blomkamp to direct Venom 2.
I still have to see that movie he made, Swingers. I want to see that. I hear good things about it.
Swingers I've seen Swingers a couple of times and it's really good.
But it's like, yeah, The Mandalorian looks great. Jon Favreau is pretty great at character, and I think that's what Star Wars excels at, or what people
It's
love
weird,
about Star Wars the
like
most.
how Iron Man and like what you said about characters. It's like I kind of feel like they kind of messed up Jon Favreau's ideas for Iron Man once the MCU really got started, because
Mhm.
what started off as like Howard Hughes experiencing a PTSD ridden mind becomes more jokey and more of an alcoholic douchebag. It's like, dude, you saw American soldiers get gunned down in front of you. Why are you still joking around?
Well, you know, these movies want to focus on like emotion, but it's always a bit farced and artificial, and characters will go through like emotionally traumatizing things, but it will only be touched on to an extent.
Yeah, but
It's
in the
not-
first Iron Man movie, he's
Mhm.
constantly thinking about, like, he has that look on his face, like, dude, I am a changed man. Like, because that's what Jon Favreau did. He wrote a character who had the worst impact on the MCU, where you notice like 90% of the villains in the Avengers movies are people who say, "Oh, Stark, fuck that guy. I hate that guy. That piece of shit." It's like,
That's
God,
only the
how many
first
people
two.
did your family fuck over? It's like 90% of the population.
Oh, you mean the Iron Man movies, right?
Yes,
I can
yes.
hear you
Like
for a second.
Jon Favreau wrote that character to basically be like, he's a character that's breaking a cycle
Mhm.
where he's actually doing something with his life by building a toy for himself and beating up people instead of actually using humanitarian aid.
And it's basically the same plot as like Syndrome from The Incredibles, right?
But in reverse.
In the past, and I guess so.
But this is a world where like superheroes were either were not known about, or like Captain Marvel was probably back on her planet, wherever. Cap was still an icicle.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
And,
by the way,
like, Dr. Bruce Banner
Austin.
about to eat a bullet.
Austin, you saw The Predator.
Yes, I did.
I wanted to see that, but it's like I don't know. I don't know what it is about me. Ever since I got my money back, I've been like unwilling to go see bad movies, at least by myself,
It's not
because
that bad. It's just really goofy and cheesy.
I personally wanted to see it because I think that the idea of weaponized autism is the greatest fucking thing I've ever heard.
Okay, for those who don't know, the Predators they have, oh my god, like every single new movie they make in the Alien Predator is nothing but an exposition dump. You just like get toilet paper ready when you go to the theater. So they say that they want to harvest like DNA or any type of mental condition from a subject when they were being beaten up or like whatever, if they win something. So when you watch the first Predator, you just notice like, just imagine that the Predator has an inner monologue like this, like, I can't wait to get some of that DNA inside me. Wonderful.
Sounds like the Family Guy dude.
Just imagine it's him. You will never think the same way. It says like, you can't stop me, Arnie, because I'm the Predator. I'm sorry, I'm a Uchez. As fanboys call me now. Yeah, I just killed every single one of your friends. Yeah.
Called the Yucha.
Yaucha.
Forget that. The Yaucha?
Yaucha.
When did they get that name?
Comic books and people who just were bored on the internet.
That's like right. It has to have a name, right? Because there can't be like an era of mystery, or there can't be like an
well, there is an
state
era of mystery because we don't know what their home planet life is like. Because the only thing we got close to that was the AVP movies, and people want to forget that happens. Except in the new.
Hello? Something happened?
I'm still here.
This universe is messed up. It's like. It's weird. What started off as like a horror movie and an action horror movie devolved into such a mess over the span of 30 to 40 years.
Well, wait. Here's the thing. We've only had one bad Predator movie, and it's the most recent one. Predator 1?
No, Predator 2.
Predator 2 is okay. It's not...
Kidding. I love Predator 2.
I love Predator 2.
Don't
Fucking voodoo magic, man!
I bet you they're all those guys who were like Jamaican, they were all Canadian. Once the camera stopped rolling, it's like, oh yeah, that was really nice. Yeah. It's like I can tell a Canadian when I see one.
Hey, you want to get some beer, eh?
It's like, oh no.
Yeah. Oh, wait, was it made in Canada?
The Predator was a Canadian. I was like, yeah, I'm going to hunt some Arnie DNA on my planet, eh?
Wait, was Predator 2 made in Canada? Is that where the Canadians...
No, it was shot in LA. I just wanted to make Canadian jokes. But the new Predator, it's nothing but exposition. And then they have the CGI Predator who says, there is one amongst you who will be your leader. He is the superior of your race. And she chooses the autistic child.
Because autism is...
This is an actual line, people. They say autism is the next step in human evolution. I'm like, what? What the fuck? So, like, My Little Pony and Sonic the Hedgehog means you're an evolved human being? Great, now Chris Chan will never shut up about it.
Well, I'm autistic. Does that make me a predator?
Don't say that in public. You might get arrested.
No. I actually have autism.
No, just don't say you're a predator.
Oh, right. Oh, right. No. I'm strictly speaking to alien people. No.
I am also a touch autistic, but I kind of felt like that was a bit of a stretch.
You're not self-diagnosing, are you?
No. I actually have.
Okay.
It's just a small hint of it, though. But like, it's
you have Asperger's.
Yes.
Yeah, I have Asperger's.
I have a little.
We all have it.
I have a little bit of autism, not Asperger's, though.
Wait, what do you have?
PDD-NOS.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
Sorry to hear that, my dude, but I'm glad to see you're functioning well.
Like
Wait, what's PDD-NOS?
I think that's what I was diagnosed with. I don't know exactly.
Are we all have autism in here?
Oh, great, we're some type of autism squad. I'm sorry, I didn't do that.
I have ADD.
Huh?
Attention deficit disorder.
Oh well. That's not autism, but that's close enough. It's close enough. I also have ADHD.
Pretty much, yeah.
The Predator is kind of offensive if you're someone with these type of mental illnesses because they make those type of things gags where they treat someone with Tourette's as a comic relief. Where there's a fight scene and he's like, "Fuck, cock, pussy," and it's just like the Predator looks at him and goes like, "What the fuck? This is a real moment in the movie."
I don't know why, but I've always imagined like the Predator having like a Jamaican accent because of the dreadlocks and shit. So now I'm just imagining this situation with like the Predator speaking like with like a Jamaican accent. He's like, "The fuck is wrong with this man here?"
Or worse,
saying
he
pussy
speaks
shit
like,
fucking piss.
or worse, he speaks like Takeshi 6ix9ine. No, you take out the bat. It's just him under there. It's like no.
Don't. Wait, he's like the rapper with like the multicolored rainbow hair, right?
Skittle mouth.
Right.
But you know, I am glad they finally did something in this movie. They gave the Predator subtitles. I'm like, final.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they gave a Predator subtitles. The Super Predator.
I don't want that.
It's like I've always been curious. Like, what are they talking about? And then someone would go like, "Doesn't body movement and like physical motivation actually show that to you?" It's like, I'm actually curious what they actually want to say. And he just asks things like, "Where are they?" It's just like, "Where is the child?" And it's just like, "What did you do?" It's just basic stuff, but it's like years and years of this question has finally been answered. It's like they actually know how to communicate with them. Although the movie is still a huge mess and a waste of Jake Busey, who's becoming more like his father every movie he's in.
Oh, Jake.
Although he will always be scarier in the movie Frightener.
Gary Busey's son is in it?
Yes.
Okay.
I just want him to just be in a movie where he just greets out going, "Hello, pants." I look like it continue. Hello, pants.
All right, guys. I think we have to.
Yeah.
I think this is
Shut
where
it
we're
down
at to
before
end
my
it.
insanity infects you all.
No, you've elevated the podcast. You should be the host.
I'm not. I don't do good under pressure.
Not to mention, there's plumbers and crap doing stuff outside of my apartment right now. That's what that noise is. I don't know if you can hear
Do
that.
you guys like Bowserette or whatever her name is? Bowsette.
I love Bowsette.
Isn't that like trans browser?
There's Bowser.
No.
It's whatever pronoun.
It's female human Bowser.
It's
Right, because I remember some people on Twitter complaining about the fact that she has to be transgender. But
because
a lot
it's
of
the
people don't
internet.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't want that because it's like,
crown
then
it's a crown that magically turns Bowser into a girl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then there are like some guys on the internet complaining, but then I won't want to masturbate to her because she has a dick. And I'm just sitting there like,
Dude, it's the internet. No matter what you do, you're going to masturbate to something, whether it be out of pure boredom or just because you have a sick mind.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck is this anymore? How did this start?
I bet there are people out there who jack off to garlic bread pictures, but then again, garlic bread is tasty.
You can jack off
I think
to
we
a
have to end it
pizza
there.
if you try hard enough.
We're getting into jacking off. We're getting into jacking off about browser fanfic OCs. Let's end it here.
Okay.
Oh, you think that's
Yeah.
see what people are doing to Venom?
Oh
I know what
yeah.
people are doing to Venom.
On Tumblr, there's like a image with a bunch of like hashtags, and it was like,
With that, let's have Shadex sing us out to the Venom song.
Venom, Venom, get hit with the Venom.
So we'll make a remix.
What the fuck is even it? What
I'm
the fuck
down
is
to that.
What the fuck even is this movie? It feels like a movie that should have came out in the 80s. This is like the 5th time I've said that, but it's like it's got its own rap music video to go along with it. It's got all this promotion and shit. It's everybody's like talking about it.
Or it should have been just the villain of Spider-Man 3, the Sam Raimi one. Just have Venom. Fuck Sandman. Fuck New Goblin. Just have Venom and Tom Hardy playing him.
They did the Monster Mash.
The Monster Mash.
It was a graveyard smash.
They did the mash.